Hello, friends. Happy New Week. Welcome to another episode of Optimize with Francis. How are you all doing? Trust your Sunday was great. Nice. So, today we'll be summarizing our story or series on Father Abraham, and we're going over to part 3 in this series. And today we're going to be looking at a topic tagged personal and specific goals. Personal and specific goals. With our lesson today, we'll be taking it from the story of Abraham when he was given an instruction to leave his father's house and go to a land where God was going to show him. So he had this vision, he had this goal to leave his father's house and go to where he was being directed to, where he was headed towards. So you have your goal, you have your vision. I presume you have it at this point. If you don't, it's never too late. Any day we wake up is our morning, right? So we can start today, get something together, and have a purpose and a direction for where you're headed to. Get what your vision is, get what your goal is, and go after it, pursue it passionately. Yes, passionately. So Abraham gets his own, he gets his vision, he gets his goal, he gets his dream, he gets his direction from God. And God says, leave your father's house to a land I'm going to show you. And Abraham sets on the journey and begins to move. That's where I'm stopping on the story and jumping straight to our lesson. Lesson number 1 on personal and specific goals is some goals/instructions cannot be validated by others, right? At the point where Abraham was getting this instruction, it is not on record that other young men within the community were told that at this certain age, you all have to leave to a land I will show you. It wasn't like a common norm. It wasn't like a norm in his amongst his kindred at the time or in his community that at this particular time you have to leave to a land I'll show you. That wasn't it. So that was a very personal and specific instruction. So imagine if Abraham was waiting for validation from his friends, from his family, from his neighbors to say, oh, my age grade, have you left your father's house? Oh, the people in the other place, have they left? Are they leaving? What are they doing? So that you know what direction to go. He might not have made a move because it's not on record that that was the norm or the pattern at the time. So just know that some goals you have, some visions you have, some dreams you have are going to be so particular that if you wait for validation from others, you may not take a step, right? You may not make a move. So some of those are so specific that they cannot be validated by a third party. Point number 2, some instructions are personal and specific. You don't need to convince the community to go with you. Very important. I also didn't see that Abraham started knocking door to door. All men within this age, same age as me, this is the new direction. Oh, we all need to leave our father's house and go. It wasn't a we instruction. It was specific to him. Right? So some of your goals, some of your dreams, some of your visions may be so specific. You don't need to push it on every other person that, oh, I need community movement. Everyone, come, let's do this. You may just be the one that instruction is, that goal is for, that vision is for, and you need to pursue it vehemently, passionately, with zeal, with enthusiasm. But you may just need to take that step alone and walk alone for that particular instruction, not for all instructions. You don't need to convince the crowd. You don't need general validation. You just know that this is particular and specific to you, and you launch with it. Finally, third but not the least, there's no record of Abraham returning to his father's house. I think this is the most difficult. Separation from the past. When you're told, leave and live means live. So how many of us are still tied down to our history, to our past, to our background, to several other limiting factors that may just be holding you down, that you're not, to old friends, to old acquaintances, to classmates, to different, things that may just be tying you down and preventing you from fully living. And social media doesn't make it easier. In the time of Abraham, I just can't imagine what level of discipline it takes to live and really live. Now, in times of social media, we live, but we are not living. We are marking the people. We are tracking everybody's movement. What new shoe did they buy? What new house did they buy? What new car? We are not just living. So is there something that's your goal demands you to live? Are you really living, or are you still lingering or tying on to it? I want to pick these 3 points from the story of Abraham and his direction to live and move to where he'll be shown. So point number 1, not all your dreams will be validated or can be validated by third party. They can't validate it because there was none like it before that, right? Not all of them can be validated by third party. Point number 2, you don't need to carry the world along, the community along, and every other person along, because it's so specific and personal to you. And finally, the last but not the least, living means live. You need to be disciplined enough to hold your ground, to live and try not to look back. Not living with animosity or with anger or to prove a point. He just lived in obedience of an instruction and in pursuit of his dream and his vision and his instruction and direction, right? So there was no phone, so it's not like there were phones or letters, but for him to keep reverting back, he just moved in his direction, and the rest is history. Just look at all of us, in the Christian world. We are all children of Father Abraham. Just imagine the great lineage he built just by following the instruction and actually living without returning back. So do you need to live something and really live without letting social media or other things tie you down and keep you locked? All right, friends, I want to recap points from all the 3 parts of Abraham's story and things we should not look down on. Point number 1, be consistent with your character. Strength of character. Consistency is key. Abraham was consistently kind, as we recorded in part 1, very important. So whatever you are, know who you are. Don't be someone who is so responsive to every behavior and pattern. Oh, they do this, you respond. Just we learned strength of character, how to know who you are and be consistent with your character, with your passion, who you are, and all that. Point number 2, from Lot, we learned, look beyond what you see. There is more to life than meets the eye. So very, very, very important that we are doing long-term thinking and not just short-term thinking, like in the case of Lot, where he just looked at the greens and the fertility of the soil without looking long-term of the impact of the direction it was taking him. And finally, today, we've talked about personal and specific goals. Until next time, friends, have you an awesome week and see you next time. Bye. Thank you for hanging out with me.